John Boyega kind of coming out and saying, I don't know, just a lot of random things really about his experience on the Star Wars franchise and what he kind of feels that Disney did with his character and everything. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to.
I got some opinions on it.
Do you got some opinions on this?
Yeah. I mean, like, I know what he said. Do you want me to just, like, say it?
Yeah, if you can remember it verbatim.
I'll be real. I don't think Finn was that good of a character.
But do you think it wasn't that good of a character because they wrote it like shit?
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's nothing to do with John Boyega. Like, he's a great actor. He's he's done stuff with like the movement of like the BLM shit and outside of like the movie. But I think they wrote him as a bad character.
And, well, that's the thing too, and I think probably what irks him the most, not to like put words in his mouth by any means, and I think he kind of said this in one of the interviews, or at least kind of like, I don't know, insinuated it, is like they set up The Force Awakens to where he was almost like the main character, and then like in some ways, he was kind of the central focus, and then he really got just like pushed aside, at least Finn did in The Last Jedi.
Oh, for sure.
And did like literally nothing. And the worst part of the movie was what him and Kelly Marie Tran's character was doing. Like that whole casino bit. Not only was it like terrible, like just in general, but it did nothing for the story because, like, spoiler alert, I'm sure everybody's seen The Last Jedi and has their own feelings about it. But like literally at the end of that whole arc, everything they did in that casino thing was for nothing. Like they do all the thing to try to get the codes or whatever to get through the force field or whatever it is, but it was literally all for nothing. It didn't progress the story any further.
I'll be totally honest. John Boyega's my boy. Like, I got that dude, but like they made him into a bad character.
Yeah, and, which is what he's complaining about.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's got every right to feel that.
Yeah, because I mean, he even said and at the end of this too, I'll just read this one. We can go over some more of it if you want, but he says like they gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest,
characters though. It's Kylo Ren and
they set it
Rey,
up, though, like, in The Force Awakens to where he, like, because you got to think, if you remember The Force Awakens, he was literally like the central focus of the movie. Poe was supposed to die when the TIE fighter crashed, but they didn't want to, like, Oscar Isaac just like kind of weaseled his way into not dying because he was like, I don't want to play another character that just dies in the beginning because he had just done that in another movie. So they like let him stay alive.
Like Ben Solo, like I'm cool with that, but like he's a stormtrooper.
Yeah, but you gotta think in the first movie, in Force Awakens, they set up the whole thing with him, and like honestly, it would have been a very cool story for them to do, like a defected stormtrooper, essentially, someone from the Empire defecting from them. Maybe we're not the Empire, but like, yeah, well, that's what I was gonna get into too. They kind of teased the fact that he was like Force sensitive multiple times throughout the whole trilogy, and they went nowhere with it. They could have done like so much more.
He goes toe to toe with Kylo, and
he does.
He loses, but I mean, he a completely untrained
goes toe to toe with a Sith Lord, like a fake Sith Lord. But
I mean, let's call it. He was a Sith Lord, and the First Order was the Empire. I mean, we can call it what it is. Like,
I'll be real. They gave him a pretty good send off in The Rise of Skywalker. Like, I mean, he did a lot of stuff that really benefited, the rebels or the rebellion, whatever you want to call it. And like he was not a bad character in all reality, which is kind of contradictory to what I said. But
well, no, it's like
he helped a lot.
Finn started out as a good character that had a lot of potential, but just like he's saying, I think we're agreeing more with what John Boyega is saying more so than saying that Finn's a bad character. So they really dropped the ball, like not only with like them having a black lead in like a Star Wars movie where he mentions like they kind of dropped the ball on that, like you put
it was cool.
Yeah, and it's like they do all this thing like to have hold on, where's this quote? Because he was like, I think it's this one. Like, you guys know what to do with Daisy Ridley, you knew what to do with Adam Driver, you knew what to do with all these other people, but when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega,
they're the
fuck all
characters. Excuse me.
Yeah, but you look at the original trilogy, and they were able to juggle a multi-character cast. It wasn't just Luke, and they were able to give Han some characters.
Was just as important as Luke. for sure.
Yeah, and they were able to work Leia and Obi-Wan to an extent.
They definitely put him on like the wayside in the last movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially in the second movie.
I feel like his character, Finn, was a good character. He had a really interesting setup, but he was a badly developed character. He was very poorly throughout the series. And I think that's kind of just like Rob said, that's what he's saying. He's saying that they just and I mean, to be honest though, wasn't the series just kind of badly developed? I mean, they did have Disney did this kind of like, okay, now we're going to jump over and you take over. You tell us what you want to do with this. And now you take over. It was kind of like a hodgepodge way to make a series. And
100%.
I think Rise of Skywalker was kind of a shitstorm.
That movie's terrible.
Yeah.
But they had like literally they initially, the crazy thing is, did have a plan to some degree. Not like a Kevin Feige style plan where he actually like he knows what's going to happen in 3 movies from now, because he plans out 5 years worth of movies, and look how successful the MCU is. But with the initial plan, like they had with having like Josh Trank and then Colin Trevorrow come in to do the next movies and everything, or Rian Johnson was always going to come in and do it. Josh Trank was supposed to do that Boba Fett movie. That got thrown away too.
That would be cool.
There were like collaborations at the beginning between JJ and Ryan and Josh Trank, to not like a writer's room, like they put all the effort into, like Disney put all the effort into like doing the High Republic stuff, where they actually got them all together, mapped out everything, and then developed it all together. They didn't quite do that, but there was some, at least, Ryan knew what JJ was doing, so he was able to write his script kind of based on what happened. And then Josh Trank obviously was able to like talk to Ryan at some point and see what was happening with, not Josh Trank, but
Be honest, Rian Johnson fucked up Star Wars.
Well, the thing is, Colin Trevorrow's leaked script for the what would have been the 3rd movie, Duel of Fates, which is a much cooler name than fucking Rise of Skywalker, but that whole script that he had written based off what Ryan had done and what JJ had done before him, it made a lot more sense than what Rise of Skywalker was. Like, it all had a much cleaner playthrough. Like, it was much better.
Sure, but I also think that the fatal flaw of these Star Wars movies and why they didn't make all the money in the world is because, which they should have. This is the final
they still made
part to the most. But they should have made more. I mean, every movie should have grossed $2 billion. I mean,
they make more. Those 3 movies, though. I think between, even if you have to include no, I think just the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, I think on average made more movie per film than the MCU movies do.
More movie per film?
More money. They made more money per film on average than the MCU movies do. The MCU movies like average almost $1 billion. But
Star Wars
movies are like $2 billion.
Like,
almost $2 billion.
Star Wars movie comes out, it's going to make money.
Oh,
yeah.
Han Solo would like to have a word with you, Rick.
Very true.
Which that movie was light years better, no pun intended.
I thought it was that bad. Like, I had no promise.
Solo was actually good. Like,
yeah,
it was a good movie.
It's well developed. Like, I thought it was good.
Like, why?
I feel like Lucas for all the problems of the prequels, for all that, he had a story. He had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you can see it executed in each of his trilogies. The original trilogy, you have a beginning, middle, and end. The prequels, you have a beginning, middle, and end. And then the overarching story, he clearly had a beginning, middle, and end, and you just don't get that with these last 3. You get a very hodgepodge.
Very mixed.
Hey, this is JJ. I'm going to set up these mysteries. Hey, Rian Johnson, I don't care about your mysteries, and so we're going to say it's not that important, and we're going to move on to what I want to do. And so it's just a very disjointed. And then they pass it back to JJ, and JJ's like, but my mysteries do mean something, so here's what they mean.
Well, they pass it back to JJ, and then it's just, well, let's try to please all the fans and just do.
That's all it came down to.
Nothing. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. Let's just do as much as we can to make the fans happy.
Yeah, like what can we throw in here to make people happy? And
so as much as John Boyega is upset, I mean, it's kind of understandable. He's a casualty of a very, very poorly planned.
I was just about to say that. Like, it's all poorly planned. Like,
everybody is. Because even Adam Driver should feel offended, because what they initially had planned for him to do in Duel of the Fates was much cooler than what happened in Rise of Skywalker.
Sure.
Like,
I thought his redemption was cool.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this Duel of Fates. I feel like I have to go research this now.
Have you not seen any of it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should go.
Oh, it's intense.
Like, there's no redemption for him or anything.
Like he's just a bad guy.
He's just the bad guy throughout, and like he goes and finds like not to spoil like the whole thing for anything, but I mean you'll never see it. It's never going to be made. But the whole script's out there, and he goes in like to, I forget what the planet name is, but it's like an ancient Sith Lord who like he was just like some weird alien thing. What
he gets disfigured and
I mean it was super weird. There's concept art for it too, this like ancient Sith Lord thing, and I think did they say that it trained?
It was like a giant baby or something like that.
It was
like,
weird.
It was like a baby's head.
Yeah,
it was like some real weird shit.
Well, I can try to follow it up if you want to talk for a minute.
Well, yeah, like he went to like a swamp, kind of like on Dagobah, and basically he was going to meet this guy who was like this crazy ancient Sith Lord. He teaches him some stuff, and then Kylo Ren kills him or something like that. And literally, they said though it was like the way that the guy was supposed to look was supposed to be like a giant baby's head, which is like the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah,
but basically, like he never became good. He was just Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's the Sith tradition, right? The apprentice kills the master, and
so there it is.
Well, whoa,
right. Like it was some weird stuff. It was like a giant like spider monster with a baby head.
Yeah, like it was some weird shit.
Tor Valum.
And this is like some, I don't know, like some Sith vampire lord is what he's called, dude.
He's like thousands of years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was like they had some cool ideas for this thing.
I thought it was kind of
like, some of the shit was weird.
It was weird, but it was cool.
It was super cool, and like there like no redemption.
And I think too that the thing that he used to get to what was the Exegol in the movie, like it actually blew up and it like disfigured him in the beginning part of the movie or something like that, and used Beskar steel, like the Mandalorian stuff, to repair himself. Like it was this real like out there concept. But,
yeah, it was cool. It was unfortunately the movie that we'll never get that was like super compelling. Like it had its problems like here and there. Like it was like I don't know about all this, but like
I thought that would have been better.
It would have been better than what we got in my opinion. But
yeah.
And kind of speaking of which, then it'll kind of segue into our next topic, because it's kind of goes into what we were saying, where everything's kind of was just like disjointed. Because, well, actually, guys, first let us know what you guys think of John Boyega's comments down in the comment section below. Okay, let us know, because I think we all are kind of in agreement that Finn could have been a cool character and was set up pretty good, and they definitely did. Just kind of went downhill. It went downhill just like the rest of the franchise did, real quick.
I honestly forgot. I forgot he was even in The Last Jedi until you reminded me of the.
They made him forgettable.
Yeah,
it's just like.
I mean, I knew he was in there. I knew in my mind. I know he's in there.
Yeah, but he literally does nothing. It's just like Captain Phasma had like.
Dude, she was nothing.
Like they just made a character that looked cool, and then like
she looked super cool, but she was nothing.
Looks cool, does nothing. And then they set Finn up to be cool, does nothing.
He does nothing.
Just nothing.
That's how the entire new like trilogy was, though.
Pretty much. And then you got Mary Sue Ray.
So. Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah, but that's what we're going to get into. Anyway, guys, with the John Boyega stuff, you let us know down in the comment section below.